Good morning. It's Wednesday, January 17, 2024. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this morning, Martin Amehule led Rivers Assembly to rescreen resigned commissioners today amid controversy. Traders protest at Rivers State Government House. President Tinubu says his predecessor Muhammadu Buhari left him with lots of battles and tasks. On the foreign scene, UK warned of coldest January night in 14 years. I am Ifechukwu Moyinle with the news. As the Martin Amehule-led Rivers State House of Assembly prepares to rescreen the 9 resigned commissioners today, human rights advocate Henry Ekine has joined to insist that their actions are invalid. Mr. Ekine tells our correspondent that the lawmakers stopped being members of the House the day they decamped to another party.
But Martin Amehule and his 26 friends haven't ceased to be members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. That's a fact. So they have no constitutional power to act in any way or usurp the powers of the Rivers State House of Assembly. As a matter of fact, they are impersonating the Rivers State House of Assembly and ought to have been arrested and, of course, prosecuted. So we do not accept that procedure.
The lawyer also faulted the state governor for submitting the names of the resigned commissioners to the Martin Amehule-led Rivers Assembly for screening.
Agreed that the governor has these powers, that is pursuant to section 192 and 193, to appoint commissioners and then to assign responsibilities to them. But he has no power to submit such names of commissioners to persons who are not members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. So the governor has erred in submitting names of nominated commissioners to Martin Amehule and his 26 friends who are not members of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
Recall that the Martin Amehule-led Assembly last week invited the 9 resigned commissioners for screening and confirmation as commissioners. It is in line with the 8-point resolution signed by Governor Fubara, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, and some others when President Bola Tinubu waded into the political crisis in the state. The peace agreement included the reappointment of the commissioners who resigned following the crisis. Meanwhile, Governor Fubara has dismissed insinuations that the appointment of the 16 new permanent secretaries has a political undertone. Governor Fubara said this during the swearing-in ceremony of the permanent secretaries at the Government House on Tuesday.
Your responsibilities as permanent secretary is so much. So it's not just being lucky to be among the ones that are chosen to be permanent secretary at this very critical time of our government, but living up to it, knowing that it is not just an appointment that after 2 or 3 months your faces will start changing. So my major charge today will be see this appointment as a call to duty. It is not a position that you earned politically. As a matter of fact, you were not picked based on political grounds.
The governor explained why he appointed the permanent secretaries.
We have a lot of ministries that are not manned by adequate authorities for a while now. And that is the reason why we had to appoint these numbers, so that all the ministries will have a head, pending when we might also have your political head. You are the administrative heads. So we're doing this because we want to chart a proper course for this government. We can't achieve those things while we sit here alone. It can only be done when there are capable lieutenants, and you are those lieutenants. I want to urge you all, don't be political. Stand your ground. I will always stand for the right thing.
Our correspondent reports that the head of service, George Wake, presented the new permanent secretaries with keys to their official SUVs.
And every person who has been following up the administration of His Excellency will note some important things that have happened since he came in as governor of the state. One of the key promises he gave was that he was going to make the working environment of civil servants to be very, very conducive. So human beings working for River State government will bring out the best in them, and has been showing the examples of what it takes to improve the environment of civil servants. Here today, he has provided 16 vehicles for the 16 newly appointed permanent secretaries.
Meanwhile, political analyst Liberus Oshoma believes the appointment of permanent secretaries is another way for Governor Fubara to checkmate loyalists of former Governor Wike who are set to be reappointed as commissioner. Mr. Oshoma spoke to correspondent Sir Bioruwari on this.
The permanent secretaries are the statutory head of the ministry, but while the commissioners are the administrative head, the eye of the governor, the mouthpiece of the governor. So a situation where you have commissioners who are not in words and indeed the mouthpiece of the governor in those areas, knowing fully well where their loyalty lies, the governor would want to have permanent secretaries who will indeed be able to checkmate those commissioners who are supposedly representing him but not representing him in actual sense. What we see is the preparation for the forthcoming election where everybody, we consolidate on their end.
But another pundit, Joe Princewell, thinks otherwise.
I do not see any political coloration to the appointments the governor just made. And this is what we have always known the civil service for. If you notice, almost all the local government areas are represented in that appointment. This has always been the practice from time immemorial. But in the last administration, it was politicized. The appointment of permanent secretaries was purely political. Some of those who have retired were given contracts, thereby denying those already in service the opportunity to grow in the system.
Moving on, some traders protested at the government house on Tuesday over the planned use of a ballot to reallocate shops in Mile 1 Market, Port Harcourt. Recall that the Mile 1 Market Rumuwoji Phase 2 has remained closed since a fire in 2013. The Wike administration rebuilt it in 2019, but court action from Traders Union has delayed the allocation of shops at the market. Governor Fubara recently assured that the market will be reopened for use before the end of January 2024. Wielding placards with different inscriptions on Tuesday, some of the protesters told their correspondent that the shops ought to be returned to their original owners.
When we get, they now go to buy the shade from us. So that is why we are saying that the original shop with our documents, our government should look into our documents and release our shop for us. There are some people that go because they say they are buying, by lotting. They went for back because they get money. Me, I don't have. They went back and buy the shops. And that is why we are suffering till today. So we want government to give us our shop, the original people that has the shop.
The certificates. So let government go through it and know the regional owners. Those people that do ballot, they don't have papers. So government do mago from back, give it to them. Say it's ballot. So we're not in support of that ballot. We need our shops. We are the original owners. Every document you need, we'll have it.
The leader of the protesters, Princess George Will, said they want the governor to know that the right owners of the shops are still alive.
Let it come to our aim that we are suffering. To give us that shade, if you can put pepper in the table, we can eat without begging. So we are begging you. I love that shade 2013, 17 December. That was when the shade got born. Everything that I have, I didn't pick one. Since then, I've not been doing anything. My husband died on the 16th December 2016. Till now, I'm in the house. Nothing. Somebody dash me and eat.
Over 55 makeshift buildings were destroyed on Tuesday following a fire outbreak along Apara Link Road in Port Harcourt. It is not clear what caused the fire, but residents had resorted to self-help after the Federal Fire Service failed to respond to several frantic calls. The caretaker of one of the buildings, Jaja Gota, said the fire damaged properties worth millions of naira.
In the morning, I sent my son to school. In the school, they called me on phone that fire already catch all the whole place. I don't actually know where it is start from. Before I went to the place, all the whole place are burned down. I see people everywhere and they're not seeing any person collect anything. They say that they are fighting to off the light. They couldn't do it. So everything burned down. Nobody collect anything from there. The thing burned about 55 houses, 55 buildings is burned down.
Some victims of the incident also spoke to our correspondent.
I took my children, go to school around 17 minutes after 7. When I come back, I see the light. The fire was all the whole building. So I was shouting. I get into my house. I couldn't be able to get all my property and other valuable properties.
Anyway, they know that they feel help us because I lost a lot. As I went out early morning, I wasn't around to bring anything.
The fire service was contacted at the initial time. They are nowhere to be found up to now. People are displaced.
Away from that, police say the cause of the explosion which rocked Ibadan, capital of Oyo State, late Tuesday is yet to be known. The incident that reportedly led to the death of several persons has sparked tensions in the ancient city. Still to come, President Tinubu says his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, left him with lots of battles, tasks. Stay with us.
Good people of Rivers State make una hear. Government of Rivers State under
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. Scores of tricycle operators, otherwise called keke drivers, were stopped on Tuesday from continuing their protests in Rumaholo community, Obiakpo local government area of Rivers State. The keke drivers had gathered at the T-junction axis of the community for the Day 2 protest against community extortion, but youth of the community chased them away. About 2 tricycles were vandalized as they dispersed. Passers-by ran for their safety as hoodlums wielded cutlasses, sticks and bottles. Some business owners in the area spoke to our correspondent.
Since yesterday, I never cook for us. As I come and say, I come enter motor go Rumokoro, see fight room and Holland KK people. So no food. We are hungry. We are suffering, and I cannot trek to Rumokoro to buy food stuff.
Look at my own is that fruit I'm selling there. Since yesterday is not moving. My market has spoiling. My children are hungry.
It's just between them and the community versus community. And concerning KK people, but I believe that everything will be resolved this week.
Yesterday, I pity some market women.
A resident, Thank God Nwoke, also spoke.
You know, in this union work, when they work from morning to 4 o'clock, you don't have to close them, the youth will take over. So what I'm understanding from the young man, say the union people, they work from morning to 9 o'clock in the evening. So the youth, there is no choppings for the youth again. So the youth now have to move to go and meet the union people. Union people fight Rumaholo people. So that is how this problem takes start since yesterday. This morning I'm sleeping. This morning after I take my children to school, I started hearing noise. Come here, see Rumaholo youth with a knife and stick. They chase all the keke, the whole keke people. Then they protest.
The police intervened in Tuesday's chaos and restored normalcy to the area. The traditional ruler of the community, Ezebekwele, called for peace.
Everybody should remain calm, both indigenous and non-indigenous. Everybody should remain calm for now. Let us find the remote of this issue, because we need to get the proper remote of the issue before we find a solution. And we are working to find a solution. So for everybody should go about his business and remain calm. It has not called for any panic. It has not called for any threat.
In other news, President Bola Tinubu has told his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, that he left him with a lot of battles and tasks. President Tinubu said the former president left behind a lot of liabilities and assets for him. He spoke at the book launch titled Working with Buhari, Reflections of a Special Advisor, Media and Publicity 2015 to 2023, authored by Femi Adesina, Buhari's former spokesman.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
The UK's Meteorological Office has warned that by the end of Friday, more than 40 cm of snow may be seen on high ground in northwest Scotland as wintry weather continues. Bitter conditions and significant snowfall have already forced schools to shut down in Scotland and northern England and sparked travel disruption. Yellow warnings for ice and snow are in force in all 4 UK nations before possibly stormy weather this weekend. Now that's a wrap on the news this morning. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. The Martin Amehule-led Rivers Assembly is to rescreen the resigned commissioners today amid controversy. Traders protested at the Rivers State Government House on Tuesday. President Tinubu says his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, left him with lots of battles and tasks. On the foreign scene, the UK has warned of coldest January night in 14 years. The news was edited by Chioma Ezenwafa. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I'm Ifechukwu Monyele. Many thanks for listening.